Here's our first bout of the night. Is the man from Lithuania, Donatas Bondoravas, taking on Willie Fortune from Detroit, Michigan. This is going to be 8-round in the middleweight division. And now let's go for the official announcement to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world on pay-per-view, we welcome you to America's Resort, the Greenbrier, and we're here in Colonial Hall for our middleweight special attraction. Please welcome the boxers as they make their way to the ring. First, joining us to the blue corner, please welcome Willie Fortune.
Willie Fortune, 29 years of age, from Detroit, Michigan, unbeaten, 9-0 with 5 wins by way of knockout, 30 fights as an amateur, Al.
And this is a significant fight because it's the first fighter he's facing as a pro with a winning record. So this is kind of the coming out party for Willie Fortune, who had that good amateur career. And now, in a way, as an undefeated fighter, this is kind of really the start of his journey that he hopes will take him to contention.
Working really hard on his fast breaks, getting in, getting out. As he's been training very, very hard for this particular fight, knowing he was really stepping up in class to meet Donatas Bondoravas from Lithuania. Willie Fortune, he's coming off a win against Alan Moore. That was a one-run knockout.
And now joining us to the red corner, here is Donatas Bondoravas.
Born in Kaunas, Lithuania, now living in Chicago, Illinois. Donatas Bondoravas, 220 fights as an amateur. He forgot the bronze in the World Military Olympics now. 10-1-1 as a pro, with 3 wins coming by way of knockout.
And he's been brought along in a quick but efficient fashion. This is his 8th fight in less than a year, and he's really been learning and growing as a pro over that period.
His only loss against Eric Timur, that was back in London in 2002. Took a bit of a break before he made his way to the United States, and very well handled with the amount of fights that he got in 2010.
And a very popular fighter in Chicago, where there's a large Lithuanian and Slavic in general population, and he struck a chord with those fans. A look at the rules this evening that will govern the fight. The West Virginia Boxing Commission rules: no standing 8, can't be saved by the bell. Only the referee can stop the fight. Of course, 10 points or more to 10 points to the winner, 9 or less to the loser. 3 judges will score. There's a mandatory 8 count after a knockdown, as always. And the 3 knockdown rule is in effect for non-title fights this evening.
And this, of course, is a non-title fight. So now let's get the original now back to Jimmy Lennon in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and welcome to White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, and the historic Greenbrier Resort, as we present a big night of action coming your way. Redemption in America, brought to you by ARC Promotions in association with the Greenbrier and Integrated Sports. At this time, introducing to you our judges scoring this bout from ringside: Rick Modesitt, Vince Guerrero, and Dale Hardwick. All right, fans, here we go. Middleweights in the ring. We're scheduled 6 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trunks with red and white trim, he weighed in at a ready 158 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign to the ring with a record of 9 wins, no losses, 5 wins coming by way of knockout. Joining us from Detroit, Michigan, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the undefeated Willie Fortune. His opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the red corner in the 6-round attraction, wearing solid black trunks. He weighed in at an even 160 pounds. His record: 10 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, with 3 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Originally from Lithuania, now fighting out of Chicago, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Donatas Bondoravas. Had a referee in charge, Tim Wheeler, now to give instructions. Once again, we're scheduled for 6.
It's an 8-round fight. 0. All right, fellas, you guys received your instructions in the dressing room. I want you to obey my commands at all times. Most importantly, protect yourselves at all times. And remember, you guys are professionals. I expect you to carry yourself as such. This belt line looks good here. This looks good here. Any questions here? Any questions here? Touch them up. Good luck, guys. It's 8 rounds, sir. I'm sorry.
And there we have it set. Donatas Bondoravas, Willie Fortune scheduled for 8.
Look at the tail of the tape, and we see that there is a slight edge in height for Fortune, but Bondoravas has a bigger reach. And, they're both fighters who are at the same stage in their career at a later age than you would expect it.
And we are ready for round number 1. Donatas Bondoravas in black, Willie Fortune taking the fight to Donatas Bondoravas right off the bat.
Boy, somebody shot him out of a cannon, so Bondoravas is faced with a lot of aggression early here.
And you mentioned the fact that Willie Fortune has not fought anybody with a winning record up to this point in his career. A lot of guys with pro debuted and things like that, but now really stepping up in class against this Donatas Bondoravas of Lithuania. And this is scheduled for 8 in the middleweight division.
Fortune came out as a lefty. Now he's in the righty stance, but one thing hasn't changed. He's still throwing a lot of punches.
And I asked him before the fight, does it slow you down? He says, not me. It does not slow, because usually it makes him a little bit more lethargic when they switch over to the other side. In the case of Fortune, he says he does it all the time. I think it's a little sloppy because you see him flicking that thing and missing.
Well, the danger is getting caught while you're switching, and now Bondoravas is starting to counterpunch effectively. It's the danger when you switch. You square yourself up to the other, to your opponent.
Bondoravas, who had a very busy 2010. 7 fights in total, 7-0 in 2010 for Donatas Bondoravas.
Watch your heads, inside. Watch your heads.
Fortune is coming off a 1-round knockout of Alan Moore in his last fight.
Gee, we wonder how he got that first-round knockout based upon the start he got here. My goodness, he comes out quick.
He says, I'm an old-fashioned fighter. I take it to you. And boy, does he ever. But he says I can also stay away if I need to.
Watch out there, fellas. Okay, break. No punching.
The referee is Tim Wheeler. Again, the 3 judges scoring, Rick Morissette, Vince Guerrero, and Dale Hardwick.
Bondoravas trained by Sam Colonna, who is a very, very well-known boxing figure in the city of Chicago, has been for many years.
He's also going to have Aegis Klimas in his corner. Don Turner taking care of the cuts. Bondoravas, I keep looking for a sharper jab out of him.
He had it for a little while during this round, but then it kind of got back into mothballs. And now he's pushing forward with that punch.
But it's kind of a pawing type of a jab there, Al. It's not really a snapping jab.
Bondoravas really kind of now just getting his sea legs after that wild start by Fortune. That was a good right hand by Bondoravas downstairs.
Fortune, who comes from a boxing family, his cousin is now world champion Cornelius Locke.
Also had a great amateur career.
Final seconds of round number 1, scheduled for 8 in the middleweight division. Bondoravas and Fortune.
Look out there, fellas. Punch it. Ah! Whoa! Listen up, hey! Listen up.
And now let's go to the scoring here for this one. How do you see it, Bondoravas or Fortune?
Fortune would certainly win that first round.
Started out very, very fast, took the fight, just like he told us, to Bondoravas.
Look, this is an 8 round. This ain't no 6. You know?
And now reminding him that it is going to be an 8-round fight.
Well, Fortune came out just smoking, and the sheer volume of his punches, even though they weren't always elegantly delivered, was a lot and pushed Bondoravas back. Greg Hoverson, by the way, in that corner, a very fine fighter in his day, the coach of Fortune.
And you see Bondoravas' corner, Sam Colonna, Don Turner, Aegis Klimas. And you know, I like that, what Fortune ended up doing, is to bring the fight right off the more experienced Bondoravas and really make a statement right off the bat.
He did that.
Bondoravas, you see some red above that bridge of his nose right there. Donatas Bondoravas, the Lithuanian fighter, are wearing all black, taking on Willie Fortune in the blue trunks from Detroit, Michigan. Fortune unbeaten with a record of 9-0, 5 wins by way of knockouts. Bondoravas 10-1, 1 draw, 3 wins by way of knockout. Fortune starting out very well, Al.
Yeah, he had an excellent first round. In this round, he's showing us the boxer side that you mentioned that he said he had. Bondoravas, who went to the University of Lithuania, majoring in sports technology and sports management. Obviously, and was, when we talked to him, a very, congenial guy.
But, what I'm not seeing out of Bondoravas, and you can see, again, 220 fights as an amateur, that you're not seeing him dig the body. He's exclusively looking for that jab, looking for the head, not really looking to dig the body of Fortune.
Fortune really, I think, provides opportunities for counterpunching. He's not, his style is a wild one. Bondoravas has not taken advantage of it. There's the left hook, and that's been Bondoravas' best punch in this fight when he lands it.
And you see that opportunity when he does land the left hook, there's an opportunity for a straight right at that time. Let's see if he can go ahead and fire that. See a lot of red on Bondoravas' face already.
Yeah, he's got above the bridge of his nose, as you mentioned. And they made the point to tell Fortune in his corner that this was a 8-rounder, not a 6, so you pace yourself a little bit here.
29 years of age, Willie Fortune. Bondoravas again having a little bit of trouble because, Fortune is very awkward, Al, and that's what makes it a tough fight.
Yeah, the jab would be a key rangefinder for Bondoravas. He hasn't gotten it untracked yet. It's been a closer second round. Good work in the inside by Willie Fortune, and he punctuates all that with the left hook.
Now you see the red in the face right there of Bondoravas, not only above the bridge of the nose, but now you've seen a trickle of blood now coming from the nose. And that was from that uppercut. And actually, that's there. Fortune can land that uppercut, the uppercut with the right.
Much closer second round. This one will be perhaps up for grabs in the judges' minds.
And right away, referee Tim Wheeler right there warning Bondoravas about that low blow. Referee Tim Wheeler questioning Willie Fortune there if he's ready to go.
We got to get him up, all right?
And again, he could give him up to 5 minutes to recover.
You didn't do it on purpose. Got to keep him up, all right?
Bondoravas. Time is stopped right now.
Back.
Tim Wheeler giving time to Fortune and waiting for Fortune to give him the okay that he's ready to go. Again, it could be up to 5 minutes. The referee could take a full 5 minutes.
Good to go, Willie?
And now he's
Time
ready to go.
in. Let's go, Bucks.
Time is in. The final seconds of round number 2. Bondoravas and Fortune.
Watch your head. Break. Oh, listen up.
And you know what? I'm going to go with Bondoravas on that one just to kind of upset the apple cart here.
Very close round that could have gone either way.
Put a body on this guy, okay? Let's go.
When Bondoravas was able to land the left hook, it was effective. And here he bangs away with that left hook. He's not used the punch as much as he might in this fight, but when he does, as we said, it's extremely effective.
On the part of Fortune, he did land that one good uppercut right there.
That was the low blow that created a problem for Bondoravas.
And we got a little treat for you right here. Jamil McCline is going to join us right here. Jamil, pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
You look awesome. Look at you.
Thank you, brother. I'm happy to be here.
So where's it more dangerous, in the ring or outside the ring?
Hey, let me tell you something. I'm out in the business world now, and it's safer out there. It's safer in here than it is out there because at least in here we know the rules.
Yeah, you know exactly who's going to be hitting you. Jamil, of course, a great heavyweight contender who fought so many great heavyweights and produced one of the best fights I've ever announced. Your fight against Sam Peter was just thrilling.
Yes, you did announce that. And it was a great fight.
Yeah, in Madison Square Garden. The last fight in the Madison Square Garden ring. Right after that, or the first one, a new one, I should say.
Yeah, that was an honor to be the first fight in the ring.
Yeah.
And Jamil, we got our two combatants here. We got Donatas Bondoravas, the man who had 220 fights as an amateur from Lithuania. Would like to go ahead and make his own history, just like Jack Sharkey, who also was Lithuanian descent, a heavyweight. And he says, I like to go ahead and try to duplicate that type of career. He's taking out Willie Fortune, the 9-0 unbeaten fighter from Detroit, Michigan. What do you think of these guys here, Jamil?
I like Bondoravas. I think he's a great fighter. I followed some of his amateur career. I'm very into the Russian fighters, and he obviously is a Russian fighter. I watch a lot of their fights. Had a great time over there in Russia.
And Willie Fortune, a little raw, young man. It's very courageous the way he came out right off the bat and took the fight to Bondoravas. 9-0 with 5 wins by way of knockouts in his record.
You know, I was very concerned about how he came out like that. Came out, bum rushed the guy, and I thought to myself, you can't take too many chances that early. You're going to run out of gas. You're going to blow your whole load too early in the fight. But it looks like he's holding on now.
And there was a bit of confusion whether it was a 6-rounder or an 8-rounder. And then finally his corner clarified that for him to let him know it is an 8-round fight.
Good body work there by Bondoravas, and there's the hook again, which when Bondoravas uses it, it's extremely effective.
And Jamil, we had a fighter that you beat in an earlier match, and that's Cedric Boswell.
I tell you, Cedric Boswell is a very, very talented fighter. The fight that we fought, I was losing on all 9 cards until I knocked him out in the 10th round. On all cards until I knocked him out in the 10th round. The guy was just taking it to me all night long. I just came through at the last minute with a good knockout and finished him off in the 10th round.
And now you see Bondoravas now really starting to work that jab now. Work the jab more effectively to try to set it up for that right hand.
Fortune more economical with his punches after what Jamil referred to, that quick onslaught in round number 1. And so these last 2 rounds have been very close. But Bondoravas now establishing his jab and doing a better job offensively. It's been an entertaining fight.
And Jamil, we talked about how active Bondoravas was. 7 fights in 2010.
7 pro fights in 2010. That's him getting his record together. You know, I fought 10 times in 1 year. And that is just getting your record, just getting your pro record together. That's just fighting guys, working on the jab one fight, working on your hook the next fight, working on the conditioning the fight after that. So I'm sure that's what he was doing.
So in a perfect world, what would be the frequency of fights that you would like to have if you could do over your career?
Well, you know, once you get to the level that I fought at, which is amongst the absolute best in the world, there's not much you can do because the promoters can't afford to have you on 3 or 4 times a year, which is what I would like. So twice a year was what I settled on, and that was great for me. Take 3 months off, train for 3 months, fight. Take 3 months off, train for 3 months, fight. So it was good.
What was your walk around weight though, Jamil?
I walked around at about 295. 295. I fought at about 268. So every fight, just like these little guys, I had a weight that I wanted to hit. Unlike many heavyweights, I chose a weight that I felt that I worked best at, and I made sure I hit that weight every fight.
When you're in these other weights, you have no choice, do you?
They have no choice.
Your little attitude.
Yeah, I kind of put that restriction on myself.
Yeah, that's good. Self-imposed.
It is round number 4 of a scheduled 8-rounder in the middleweight division. Donatas Bondoravas, the Lithuanian fighter wearing all black, taking on the unbeaten Willie Fortune in the blue trunks. And so far, again, it was a great start by Fortune. I give given the last 2 rounds now to Bondoravas as he has slowly pecked away with that jab and worked behind that jab to be more effective.
You know, we talked about Fortune facing his first fighter with a winning record. So for him, this is a step up. And he has, I think, handled himself very well given the fact that, you know, he's facing a much better foe than he has heretofore.
And a second warning now for Bondoravas.
You see there, Fortune jumping in with that left hook. He does provide a lot of opportunities for counterpunching, and I'm sure Bondoravas would like to do more of it. There's the hook in the right hand by Bondoravas.
And, of course, we talked about the experience of Fortune. Again, you look at his record of the 9 fights. 2 of those fights against one guy, Guy Packer. So it's not like he's seen a lot of different type of styles, and definitely Bondoravas, a very solid fighter.
Yeah, he's definitely in there against a guy who knows what he's doing. That many amateur fights, you have to know what you're doing. Only champions come from that many amateur fights.
And Bondoravas has settled down very well here. landing. There's the jab, double jab, and landing a very good counter punches now. And Fortune, the question will be, as Jamil said, how much energy did he expend early?
And now all of a sudden that right hand by Bondoravas is finding a home. He's timing out pretty good now, right over the left hand of Fortune.
Bondoravas, I'm sorry, Fortune is looking really exhausted here. I think he, like I said, I think he blew his load early, but he's trying hard. He's a professional. He knows what he's doing.
And now all of a sudden you see Fortune very aware of Bondoravas' jab and also that straight right that Bondoravas is throwing in.
Okay, break.
Bondoravas trying to set himself again to go ahead. And now, great right hand right there, right on the button. Fortune throw showing a great chin.
Fight's over soon.
Fortune smiling, but that's a deceiving smile.
What's impressive is the combination punching of Bondoravas at this point, in addition to the power.
And he's turning the head of Fortune with those shots. Look at that. Great combination. You see the ref. Tim Wheeler watching him.
Let's see if he's going to get out of this round.
Final seconds of round number 4. Referee Tim Wheeler right on top of Fortune. And he has been able to go ahead and weather the storm, but we'll see for how much longer. Willie Fortune.
I can't believe he got out of that round.
He looks exhausted, though. You pointed that out, Jamil.
What the hell you doing? You trying to pace him. Look, man, how you gonna pace when you standing in front of a man with your hands down? Come on, man, use your damn head. Come on, Willie.
Greg Coverson, as I said, a veteran himself, really distressed that his man had stood in front of Bondoravas and took these kind of punches. The right hand, that was what started the problems for Fortune, but he didn't show lateral movement after that. Instead, he just kind of languished on the inside, throwing those wild punches, hands down, and that's why Bondoravas was able to land so effectively with those straight punches. And astonishingly, Willie did not go down during that round, which is a surprise.
Jamil, thank you very much. It was a treat to have you. Wish you best of luck in the business world.
My pleasure being here with
Before
you
we
guys.
let you go, though, what do you think of Evander Holyfield this evening?
I think Evander Holyfield is the professor. I had dinner with him the other night. We were talking about his fight here tonight at 48 years old and why he's still doing it. He's not doing it for the money like a lot of people think he is. He's doing it for the glory of winning a 5th world title, which is amazing and honorable, and I love him for it, for representing us the way he does. And I think he's got a tough fight ahead of him with Sherman Williams. They're really effective. He's got a great effective offensive style, but I think Holyfield will come out on top at the end.
Well spoken. Thank you, Jamil.
Jamil, thank you very much.
Thank you
It's an
again.
absolute
Have
pleasure.
a good evening, gentlemen.
And that is our main event of the evening. It's going to be Evander the real deal. Holyfield taking on Sherman the Tank Williams. This is Donatas Bondoravas in the black trunks, taking out Willie Fortune in the blue. And a great, great 4th round by Bondoravas, a spectacular ending. Noah's not able to go ahead and drop Fortune, but definitely made his mark. And you saw Fortune all of a sudden breathing. And in his corner, you saw that where you saying I was taking a little bit of break. And his man right there, Greg Culverson, saying you do not take a break.
Well, not when you're standing right in front of the guy with your hands down. And this is a key juncture in this fight for Fortune. Obviously, he's got to not only get around to settle himself down and then see if he can start being offensive again as he was in the 1st and 2nd rounds.
Bondoravas, again, working behind that left jab. Holding his hands almost like in a Mike Tyson, like that peekaboo style. Or Floyd Patterson, for that matter, too.
You know, Fortune, we mentioned that the opposition wasn't quite at this level. So a lot of those fighters probably fell when he used those onslaughts to really go after people. Bondoravas didn't, and that's now where we are. We're going to find out a little bit more about where Willie Fortune is at.
But I think in the back of Bondoravas, he pretty much knows that Fortune is not going to hurt him. It's not going to hurt him with those shots, so I think he all of a sudden, his confidence level to come in and land those shots, he's just biding time right now. And there's that right hand. He times that out, Al, right over the left hand of Fortune.
Bondoravas now in the south side of Chicago, the with the large Lithuanian population there that has provided him lots of fans in Chicago. I grew up about 5 minutes away from where he lives now.
On Cicero Street, right?
Yeah, Cicero in Chicago, well known for other things.
Fortune all of a sudden looked like he got a little bit of second wind though. There's that right hand again. Bondoravas missing with the uppercut as the final seconds of round number 5 of a scheduled 8-rounder in the middleweight division. Bondoravas and Fortune.
Hold your head. Don't hold
Very spirited battle.
Don't hold him back here, all right? Don't hold him back here.
Going here to the corner of Donatas Bondoravas.
Sit straight up. Sit straight
Listen,
up.
you gave him that round. You hear me? That's because you didn't fight until the end. Let's go. We need you to fight more. Here, I got it. Breathe out of your mouth. Breathe out of your mouth. Breathe out of your mouth.
You gotta sit up straight, man. That's tiring you out. Don't lay down.
Let's go. Let's pick it up. You hear me?
Bondoravas, who got quite a tongue lashing in his corner, provided the punishment himself in that last round with those jabs. Though his corner was not happy with what he did in that round, this was one of the things he did accomplish. So it was a closer round, certainly. Whether he lost it, as they suggest, remains to be seen.
I think he's really having trouble.
Let's go.
He's really having trouble with his nose though. On the breathing part that gets taken right there, the Q-tip inside there.
Yeah, here we go.
Also, we noted in the corner Don Turner, who's working with him, of course, who formerly trained Evander Holyfield, worked with him for a number of his fights. So he'll be looking on and seeing Holyfield, a man he knows very, very well.
It is round number 6 of a scheduled 8-rounder in the middleweight division. Donatas Bondoravas in the black trunks, taking on Willie Fortune in the blue. And so far, we have Bondoravas out in front. Fortune, who had a spectacular first round, really came out fast and took the fight to Bondoravas. But after that, slowly but surely, Bondoravas started working in the working in the left jab and then the straight right.
Good body work by Fortune there. He actually has come out in this 6th round and done probably the best work he's done in the last 3 rounds.
But now he switches to a southpaw, and Al, I'm telling you, it slows him down. We'll see if Bondoravas can take advantage of that.
This first minute of this round, though, is what Fortune really needed to get himself a little bit more confidence again and see if he can climb back into this fight. He's only got a few rounds left to do it, and we don't know how much of a hill he made for himself in those after round 1, but this has been a very good round 6 for him.
Yeah, he's choosing to work the body. On the other hand, Sam Colonna really got on Bondoravas about the fact that he'd only started fighting in the last minute of the round.
Well, if his corner is right and Bondoravas didn't win the 5th round, then if this 6th round goes to Fortune, as it could the way he's fighting, this could be virtually an even fight. Because there's no question Fortune won the first round.
Absolutely. So we'll see now if Bondoravas steps it up.
Wow, that was a nice left hand by Fortune. He's been very effective in that southpaw style in this round.
And you know, I started to say he seemed like he was slower, but he's actually very precise. Little warning right now here by Tim Wheeler.
Cut on the left eye of Fortune, which probably came from a clash of heads.
You got to pick that head up, son.
And right, he said Tim Wheeler over there.
All right.
Warning.
Let's go. Time in.
And if it was a clash of heads and they would have, this fight would be stopped, they would go to the scorecards at this point.
Fortune, and if the cut is above the left eye of Willie Fortune, we'll see Bondoravas now steps it up. He seems to step it up right before the end of the fight. Fights very, very hard the last 40 seconds of the round. Now not able to go ahead and hit Fortune is Bondoravas. He's got to get back to that jab there, Al.
Well, he's been out jabbed in this round by Fortune from the lefty stance. And Fortune's done something very smart. He stayed as a lefty the whole round, and rather than switch, and that's been helping him.
Bondoravas and Fortunes scheduled for 8. So that's a round that I gave to Fortune, and you see that's a nasty cut right there, Al. It's above the left eye.
Hey, listen, he behind, man. The only way they can get this fight is they got to take it from him. Look,
I stopped it. I stopped it, okay? It stopped. It stopped.
Don't get careless on him.
Okay, I'm watching him keep coming in with his head.
Yeah.
This is where we believe the cut happened. And it would look like it came from punches, the jab or the straight right hand from Bondoravas. So we thought it might be a clash of heads, but it apparently was the punch. Good jabs landing by Bondoravas, and the right hand came behind it. And right in this area is when the cut developed. So it would appear that it came from punches.
Well, I see that highlight, and I'm thinking Bondoravas won that round, but I actually gave it to Fortune.
Yeah, I think the bulk of the round, Fortune did good work. And we watched that replay, and one of the highlights of this evening, by the way, is you and I are in tuxedos. This is one of the rare occasions when everybody's in a tuxedo. You know, this formal wear is the attire of the night here among the crowd, and it's a very elegant evening here at the Greenbrier.
It's a spectacle. Boxing and entertainment merged together.
And it's really a lovely resort here.
I've never seen so many people so willing to please, so looking forward to pleasing you. Donatas Bondoravas, he's trying to please the crowd too, trying to slug out a win over Willie Fortune. Willie Fortune had a great round in round number 6, and we'll see it again on the corner of Fortune. They told him, you are way behind. You got to really step it up.
Yeah, you know, I think it's a very close fight. I have Fortune slightly behind, but I think that this is a pretty close fight. And Fortune he's boxing, and he's boxing well. Bondoravas has not been able to land as much as he did earlier.
I've got it a draw here.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. You know,
I gave Fortune the first and the second round, and then third and fourth I gave to Bondoravas, and then the fifth and the sixth I gave to Fortune. Now he switches back to a right-handed stance.
And the thing that's changed is Fortune is giving movement, using the jab, and boxing. And Bondoravas has had a little bit more difficult time hitting him at this juncture. So it's a very spirited and interesting opening bout here this evening.
Now switches back to a southpaw. Yeah, and that really throws the footwork of Bondoravas. Look at him, he doesn't even know which way to step right there.
Lateral movement can often be a big equalizer, and the jab of Fortune has been much more active in the last several rounds.
Then he goes back to a right-hander.
And Bondoravas switches to lefty. That's the first time we've seen that. That's intriguing, and he does some good work.
A veteran of military boxing is Donatas Bondoravas.
Watch your head. Oh, stop punching. Hold your clutch right here. Watch your head. That's you coming in with your head down. Come here, let me see you.
Referee Tim
All
Wheeler right there.
You guys got to
Solid
watch your
clash of
heads. Now let's go. Time in, box.
Tim Wheeler assigning the blame of that clash of heads to Fortune. Fortune has never fought outside the state of Michigan until tonight. West Virginia not that far, of course, but still, this is the first time out of Michigan for Fortune. So in fighting away from his home area, having struggled in those middle rounds, he's showing a lot of composure right now in kind of reclaiming parts of this fight.
And the biggest factor for the first time fighting a guy with a winning record, Donatas Bondoravas with a record of 10 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, and 3 wins by way of knockout.
Bondoravas has been effective when he punches, but in this round, he did not throw a lot of punches.
Very close round. Is this round number 7? We got 1 more to go. Bondoravas and Fortune. How'd you score the last round?
Yeah, I thought that round was close, but I would have given it to Fortune. So we'll see.
Now, the way I have it scored,
Stop bleeding.
let's see here.
The only way he can win this fight is they take it.
Yep.
We too far ahead on point.
Just hold still, hold
You
still,
understand?
hold
We
still.
only had 1 good round. Let's
Hold still.
look. Can't get careless on him. They're trying to geek him up.
I'm about to say busy.
Right? You ain't got but 1 round left.
Yep, I know.
You understand?
100 times.
But don't get careless.
Last round, we're going to touch him up.
All right. I want you to move that head.
Yep.
You understand?
Hold still,
You
hold
the
still.
man, baby. You the champ.
Hold still. Greg,
You understand
don't
what
pull
I'm
him, man.
saying?
Trying to stop me.
So Greg Culverson saying that his man is way out
He's
front.
confident. I think before we interpreted him to think his man was behind, but in actuality, he meant Bondoravas was behind. So we'll see if his assessment is accurate.
So Greg Culverson urging Willie Fortune to not get careless. Fortune in the blue trunks. Donatas Bondoravas, the Lithuanian, in the black trunks.
You know, it's interesting. I haven't seen too many fights in recent times in which a fighter has shown us much better technique in a portion of a fight than he did in another portion. In the first 3 rounds, Fortune was kind of wild. Even though he won the first and maybe the second round, he didn't show great technique. His technique in the last 3 rounds has been infinitely better.
So maybe that could be the nervous part at the very beginning where he got a little bit wild. Then he finally settled in, and all of a sudden he started displaying an awesome body attack, combining also excellent headshots and good defense. Switched to that southpaw and made it very difficult for Donatas Bondoravas, who was pretty much finding at home for that straight right hand in the 3rd and the 4th round.
And ironically, it was that quick start that helped Fortune probably in the scorecards, or could. But again, he's fought actually better technically now. For Bondoravas here in this last round, you know, this could very well be a very close fight, you know, and probably is. And either man that puts a punctuation mark on it here could win this fight.
And again, great headliners have great closes, and that's what we need right here.
That's exactly right.
A great close by either Bondoravas for Fortune to punctuate right here and produce a win for them.
You know, but both on our share of entertainment acts, and people remember the opener and the closer.
That's it. You better have a great close. And who better than Julio Cesar Chavez against Meldrick Taylor?
Oh, my.
2 seconds left in that particular fight. Now, Bondoravas and Fortune here. Fortune switching back now to the right-hander. Right-handed stance.
Fairly close 8th round, but more punches being thrown for the most part by Fortune, and that, you know, would be the tipping point, I would think. A short right hand by Fortune as he counters Bondoravas.
Bondoravas has not been able to turn that hand. It's been kind of a pawing type of punches that he has landed right there on Fortune. There hasn't been that snap in his punches. See, that's a good right hand, but he didn't follow it up.
Well, I think the other punch that Bondoravas probably will, when he looks at this tape, will wish he'd thrown more was the left hook, which was effective early in the fight.
Yeah, and that was really setting up his straight right.
And both these fighters at an age, 29 for Fortune, 30 for Bondoravas, where a win or loss here means something because they're, you know, older for being at the stage of having around 10 fights.
And the final seconds of this fight, will it be Bondoravas or Fortune? It's a very close fight. I have it for Fortune. And there's the final bell. Donatas Bondoravas, again, a veteran of 220 fights as an amateur. Willie Fortune, 30 fights. A Golden Glove title in the Detroit area. Unbeaten as a fighter, 9-0. Trying to get his 10th win. And we will see. Again, I have scored it unofficially. I'm going for Willie Fortune, and I have him winning by 2 rounds.
So very, you know, the interesting thing is Bondoravas did not fight with urgency in the last round, and you would have thought he might do that. Clearly, there were some close rounds in that match, and I don't know what we'll see in terms of the scoring. I agree with you, Fortune probably did more in that match, but I think Bondoravas needed to fight that 8th round with more urgency.
It's going to be in the hands of the judges. Rick Motisset, Vince Guerrero, and Dale Hardwick are going to be scoring this fight.
This fight in microcosm can be seen in 2 rounds, or 3 rounds really, of action. The best round for Bondoravas came, well, here we look at round 6, where Bondoravas did some good work and landed some good straight right hands and was working on the cut of Fortune. But Fortune, in the latter part of this fight, showed much better form and technique than he had shown earlier in the fight. Staying mostly as a lefty, not switching as much as he did, which turned out to be a very good tactic for him, using jabs, ripping those body shots, and really fighting at another level in the 7th and really the 8th round. And we'll see how this decision goes, but Fortune may have done more. We'll see.
And again, it's in the hands of the judges, Rick Morissette, Vince Guerrero, and Dale Hardwick, who will score this fight. And I think we are ready now for the announcement here by Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of action, we have a split decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Dale Hardwick sees the bout 77-75 in favor of Donatas Bondoravas. Judge at ringside, Vince Guerrero scores the bout 77-75 in favor of Willie Fortune. And judge at ringside, Rick Morissette sees it 77-75 in favor of the winner and still undefeated, Willie Fortune.
And there you have it, Willie Fortune getting now to his 10th win as a professional, slugging out a split decision. And again, Rick Morissette scored at 75-77 for Fortune. Vince Guerrero, 75-77 for Fortune. And Dale Hardwick going 77-75 to Bondoravas. So there you have this young man, 29 years of age. Boy, that's a huge name on his resume.
He's got to be proud of himself because he suffered through some difficult rounds after that quick start, and then fighting for the first time out of Michigan, for the first time against a fighter with a winning record. He showed the grit and poise to pull things together and fought very well. So Greg Coverson, who did very well, has got to be